Hi guys, and thank you so much for joining me. If you are new to my channel, I'm Kat and I usually talk about true crime, conspiracies and all sorts of related things. And in today's video we are talking about another true crime case. But before we get started, just a quick disclaimer: I don't mean to be disrespectful to anyone I talk about in the video. This is for educational purposes only. All the information I'm giving you is already found in the public domain. Thank you so much. So in today's case, I'm just gonna start going strong on it and get straight to the point. I've briefly made a very short video a couple of months ago relating to this case, but I really wanted to wait until we have more information before I go into greater depth into it. On Monday morning, the 8th of November 2021, investigators identified the remains of two young girls found in the backyard of a Hepburn Township residence. Police are investigating their deaths as homicide and have their mother, Marie Snyder, 32-year-old, and Snyder's partner, Echo Butler, 26-year-old, both of 653 Livermore Road, in custody. The remains were flown to Erie Monday morning for further analysis by a forensic pathologist. Both remains were found in the backyard of 653 Livermore Road. Nicole Elizabeth Snyder, 6 years old, was killed and buried in 2016. Meanwhile, Jasmine Jean Snyder, 4 years old, was killed and buried in 2017. District Judge William Solomon held a preliminary hearing for Snyder and Butler on November 17th at 1:30 p.m. He denied both women bail as flight risks and dangers to society. Children and Youth Services took Marie Snyder's third child, a son who is alive and healthy, into custody for care. Children and Youth Services tried to contact Marie Snyder to determine the whereabouts of her two daughters for 2 months after a medical provider reported concerns of neglect for the boy in early September. There were reports of concerns about educational issues involving Jessie, who was not attending school and was not potty trained. The girls were last seen by their father, Joshua Snyder, in 2015, and the last time they had contact with medical, court or other professional was in that year as well. Another resident at 653 Livermore Road later told police that while Marie Snyder's son has lived at the address since 2015, the two daughters have been living at an unknown friend's residence out of state. Meanwhile, neighbors told Old Lycoming Township police officers that while they have seen Marie Snyder's son, they have not seen her daughters. Marie Snyder told Children and Youth Services that her two daughters were staying with a friend because she didn't have a bed and refused to provide the friend's name on multiple occasions throughout September. Now this to me seems in itself a red flag. I mean, come on guys, 4 and 6 years old, okay, you don't have a bed, that's understandable, not everybody can afford that, you know, from the get-go. However, being that they are your children and you have a bed to sleep in, I would assume that you would give your bed away for your children. And if in any case you don't, at least buy an inflatable or something, you know, put down some duvet or some whatever you need to put to make sure that those kids have a bed to sleep in. I mean, it's a bit unfair that you yourself have a bed to sleep in, but then your kids don't have one. You know. The last occasion that social services tried to see what's happening with the girls was on September 25th, when Children and Youth Services spoke with Echo Butler at the Livermore Road residence and to Marie Snyder on the phone. The very next day, property owner Ronald Butler told Children and Youth Services that Marie Snyder, her son, and Echo Butler packed their belongings and left the night before. So you see, he was trying to sort of distance himself from the situation. As soon as he saw that social services are getting involved, he gave them a call saying that they moved out of the property so that social services won't come back knocking on his door again. Marie Snyder and Echo Butler were taken into custody by a joint United States Marshal Service and Lycoming County Sheriff's Office Fugitive Task Force on an Old Lycoming Township police arrest warrant. Before I move any further, I do apologize, guys. I still have a blocked nose, so you might hear me speaking like that, like how I am, but I can feel myself that it's really blocked, so sorry about that. District Judge William Solomon arraigned the two women after they were arrested on November the 4th. Marie Snyder was arrested at her Clinton County workplace and refused to provide information about the whereabouts of the missing girls. Echo Butler initially denied knowing what happened to her girlfriend's daughters, but later admitted that she knew the truth regarding their circumstances. Her property in the 600 block of Livermore Road was searched several times over the next few days, and the remains were found over the weekend in 2-foot-deep graves. Marie Sue Snyder, 32 years old, and Echo Lane Butler, 26-year-old, are facing a combined 40 felony and misdemeanor charges ranging from criminal homicide, child endangerment, concealing the death of a child, abuse of a corpse, simple assault, reckless endangerment, theft by deception, evidence tampering, and other charges in the deaths of Nicole Snyder, 6 years old, and Jasmine Snyder, 4 years old. Police believe that Nicole died in 2016 and Jasmine died in 2017. In a twist of events, it's a shocker. Echo Butler's parents, Ronald Butler, 53 years old, and Michelle Butler, 49 years old, are also charged in this case. Ronald Butler is facing 2 counts of felony endangering the welfare of children, as well as an obstruction of a child cruelty investigation charge. Michelle Butler is charged in the murder of Nicole Snyder with 2 counts of felony endangering the welfare of children, 2 counts of abuse of a corpse, obstructing of a child cruelty investigation, 2 counts of concealing the death of a child, and 2 counts of tampering with evidence. I mean, guys, this is a lot to unpack right here. You can understand that, okay, Marie and Echo, they did whatever they did with Marie's children, but now you also get Echo's parents involved in this as well, and there is plenty of circumstantial evidence there, otherwise they wouldn't be charged with this. So it just goes to show that there are some really cruel people out there, you know. Lycoming County Children and Youth Services first opened an investigation into Marie and Echo in September 2021 over potential neglect of Marie's son, Jesse, who was 6 years old at the time. The 3 were living with Echo Butler's parents in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Officials also wanted to know the whereabouts of Marie's daughter, Jasmine, who would have been 7 years old. Marie told Youth Services that Jasmine was residing at and being homeschooled at a friend's house. Later on, county authorities found out that Marie had another girl named Nicole, who would have been 10 years old. Children and Youth Services kept on trying to contact Marie Snyder to essentially find out where Nicole and Jasmine Snyder were, and of course if they were safe. But each time Marie Snyder refused to reveal the location of the children. At one point, Children and Youth Services spoke to Echo Butler inquiring the whereabouts of Nicole and Jasmine Snyder. Echo Butler indicated that they were with a friend, but she of course refused to give the name or location of that said friend. Investigators who followed up again at the family's home later that month were told by Echo Butler's father, Ronald Butler, that his daughter and Marie packed their belongings, took everything and left the property. So he was trying to dissociate himself from the situation. Possibly knowing what happened. Possibly, I'm saying I think he knew exactly what happened, but allegedly. He as well repeated that Marie's daughter was staying with a friend and said that he had no knowledge of the couple's whereabouts. Yes, they were a couple, if you didn't figure it out by now. Marie and Echo, they were a couple. However, neighbors who witnessed Echo Butler on her parents' property after allegedly the couple moved out disputed that statement, which just goes to show that they knew everybody in that household, knew exactly what they were doing, and when Echo Butler's father said that they moved out of the property. He did it just so that he's not associated with them anymore, and so social services wouldn't come back knocking on his door again. Old Lycoming Police Department was then asked to assist youth services officials in their investigation into Marie Snyder's missing children. Echo Butler's mother, Michelle Butler, later told police that Jasmine and Nicole Snyder hadn't resided at the home since 2015. Records, however, showed that Marie Snyder had listed the Butler's Williamsport home as the children's primary residence as recently as February 2021, and she has been collecting benefits for all 3 children since their birth, as well as receiving child support payments from the Lycoming County Domestic Relations Office, which is not unheard of, honestly. Even when children, we already know in so many different cases, even when children go missing, it happened with Harmony Montgomery as well. They go missing, they are killed, parents or whoever is involved, they still carry on receiving child support, because obviously nobody knows what happened with the children. So they take this as a financial advantage. Authorities later learned from a witness that Echo Butler's parents told them their daughter placed Nicole Snyder in the dark hallway as punishment and left her there for a prolonged period. The witness also disclosed they observed bruises and marks on Jasmine Snyder. Police arrested Marie Snyder on child endangerment and obstruction of a child maltreatment investigation on November the 4th, 2021. During the execution of a search warrant at the Butler's home on November the 5th, 2021, Michelle Butler confessed that Nicole Snyder and Jasmine Snyder were buried in the backyard of the home and unveiled a history of daily physical violence that Marie Snyder and Echo Butler inflicted on the 2 girls. Michelle Butler said she suspected Nicole Snyder and Jasmine Snyder died of starvation. The couple withheld food from Marie's daughters on a regular basis, in addition to physically harming and restraining them. Another unnamed witness also corroborated allegations that the couple would withhold food from Jasmine Snyder and Nicole Snyder, divulging to authorities that Echo Butler would feed the 2 girls 1 small spoonful of uncooked canned peas and a very small amount of water, while other family members dined on pizza and ice cream. Marie Snyder confirmed the witness statement, stating that the children were provided only small amounts of food and 2 sips from their sippy cups of water. Prosecutors subsequently added upgraded homicide charges against Marie Snyder and Echo Butler. Nicole Snyder, who was described by Echo Butler as pale and off. Oh well, really? After you don't feed them and you don't give them any water and you keep them punished all the time, how do you think that she would look like? She was the first to die on or around May 10, 2016. Michelle Butler admitted to being present to her death. The family was living with Ronald and Michelle Butler at the time, and Echo Butler buried Nicole in their backyard. Later that year, the couple and the 2 remaining children moved to another home where Jasmine Snyder died on or around August 11, 2017. Echo Butler was the last person to see her alive. Jasmine was allegedly buried next to her sister in the Butler's backyard by Echo Butler, according to court documents. It's unclear when Marie Snyder, Echo Butler and Jessie Snyder moved back in with Butler's parents. Ronald Butler was told by the 3 women that Nicole Snyder went to live with her father and that Jasmine eventually joined her. They agreed to tell outsiders that both girls were living with a friend. So Robert is being told by Marie, Echo and Michelle that Jasmine went to live with her father, and then they all agreed to tell everybody else that Jasmine living with a friend. So I don't know, either Robert was a bit too naive for his age and his intellect, And he just didn't find anything suspicious about this, especially since he was being told Jasmine went to live with her dad, but then the official story for everyone else would have been that she went to live with a friend. Either that he was too naive and he didn't see anything suspicious about this, or he was already in with them and they were just putting up their cover story together. Allegedly, in my opinion. Investigators also uncovered letters allegedly written by Maurice Snyder to Echo Butler, which further implicated them in the girls' murders. Quote, "I'm sorry about these effing bitches. If you want them gone, they are gone," Maurice Snyder wrote, referring to her young daughters. In another undated letter, Maurice Snyder told Echo Butler, "I'm so sick of these girls. I just wish I only had Jessie. Then it would be Daddy, Echo Butler, baby, Jessie Snyder, and Mommy, Marie Snyder. Like the perfect little picturesque family, but with only one child, because who needs three? Who needs three, right?" Marie also appeared to confess to causing Nicole's death. "I started to correct them and it went very wrong," she allegedly wrote in one letter. "I lost one of my babies." Marie Snyder later admitted to detectives that she treated both her daughters horribly. 2 sets of children's remains were removed from the Butler's backyard on November the 6th and November the 7th. This is arguably the most graphic case of protracted child abuse and starvation resulting in homicide that Lycoming County has ever realized. Lycoming County District Attorney Ryan Garner told Oxygen.com in a statement. Marie Snyder, Echo Butler, and Butler's parents, who have pleaded not guilty, of course they did, are currently being held in custody while trial proceedings play out. Marie Snyder testified at a preliminary hearing that she and her girlfriend purposefully starved the children to death. "We starved them so they would die," she said during a preliminary hearing on Wednesday, March 16th. Marie Snyder and her girlfriend Echo Butler are charged in Pennsylvania with criminal homicide in the deaths of Marie's daughters Nicole and Jasmine Snyder. The couple subjected the victims to violence, with prosecutors and cops calling this case the worst that they have seen. Echo's mother, Michelle Butler, also faces charges of including third-degree murder. Her father, Ronald Butler, is charged with child endangerment and obstruction for allegedly lying to Child Protective Services. The girl's mother eventually testified because she wanted to do something right for her daughters after not doing so when they were alive. But Marie Snyder turned on her dear loving girlfriend Echo Butler. Yes, she turned on her. Investigators said that Marie Snyder told them Echo Butler didn't like her daughters and wanted them out of the house. She testified that Nicole, who was 6 years old, weighed less than 5 pounds at the time of her death, which is approximately 2 kilograms, which is a 2-liter water bottle. I can't even imagine how 2 kilograms in a 6-year-old would look like. Oh my god, this is just unbelievable. Jasmine, who died at the age of 4, weighed less than a gallon of milk at 4 years old. Can you imagine the horrendous short life that these girls went through before actually dying? They were literally physically starved to death. The girls moved into Butler's Hepburn Township home in 2014. Echo Butler forced them to stand in a corner from when they woke up until they went to bed. She would hit them with a closed or open fist and tie their hands behind their backs with anything she could find, Marie said. Echo made the girls take cold baths because she considered they didn't deserve any hot water. Marie Snyder testified that she and Echo Butler only gave the girls a sip of water and a bite of cereal at a time, then began to starve them completely and systematically with the intention of them dying. She admitted Nicole had a scar from where she bashed her head into a wall. In the end, both girls were put in tote bags and buried in the backyard. Robert A. Hoffa, an attorney for Echo Butler, argued Here we go to the arguments now. So, the attorney for Echo Butler argued there were no identified bodies or causes of death. He suggested his client did not meet the legal definition of a caregiver under her child endangerment charge. Okay, so tell me, what the heck are you on about? Seriously, they lived in the same house, right? Marie was her girlfriend. They had children in that house who they were supposed to keep safe, regardless of a legal definition of a caregiver. Seriously, you don't need to be a legal caregiver to be humane, you know? This is just completely insane. Matthew W. Dimer, a lawyer for Ronald Butler, said that his client living in the same home did not translate into a duty of care. There is no evidence that he supervised the girl, Dimer said. D.A. Gardner said, however, that the elder Butler could make observations. Now here is another one, another of these defense things. So what if he didn't have a duty of care? He was there, he witnessed the violence and starvation, and I guarantee you that he knew this wasn't okay. Yet, not only did he allow it to happen, but he facilitated them by hiding where the girls were and just going along with the story. Do you really need a duty of care as an adult to make sure that a child is not killed? Really? Seriously? Isn't it common sense, and shouldn't this be human nature to want and protect? Oh my god, I feel like I just want to pull my hair out here. They were like little dolls, said Lycoming County District Attorney Ryan C. Gardner of the two young girls. Although he knew them only through pictures, he said they were beautiful little girls. Their grandfather, Robert Snyder, portrayed them as typical children who liked to do things like chalk the sidewalk, and he never had a problem with them. Jasmine loved hanging out with him, watching videos of children's songs on the computer. He recalled while carving a pumpkin that Nicole reached inside, grabbed a handful of seeds, and ran around threatening to touch people with them. He and other family members had not seen the girls since 2016 because their mother, Marie Sue Snyder, obtained several protection from abuse orders against Joshua Snyder, her husband, and their father. She offered to give the girls to his son if he relinquished parental rights to Jesse, the third child, but he refused. Joshua said in an earlier interview that he spent years imagining they had a good life and what they were doing on their birthdays and in school. So I can see here that Marie didn't really want the two girls, Jasmine and Nicole, and she even wanted to give the girls back to their father if she gets to keep Jesse. So there is, I don't understand parents, there are instances here when you can see it's quite obvious that there is a preferred child, which is very sad, honestly. And then, having reached the end of the video, the most obvious thing here, at least for me, these girls, Jasmine and Nicole, have not been seen since 2015 and 2016. This was only investigated in November 2021, and social services actually asked the help of the authorities to find out about the girls' whereabouts. It only took 4 and 5 years of someone actually ringing alarm bells over a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. I mean, come on, where the hell was everybody? Seriously. How about the father? He didn't see them since 2015. Why didn't he do something? Do you just assume that your kids are fine but you don't ask to see them or know anything about them, really? What in the world is happening here? Didn't the girls have any other relatives, grandparents, cousins, aunts, uncles, friends? Anyone? No one cared enough about these two girls to attempt and find out how they were in those 4 or 5 years. I mean, come on, they were only babies. And nobody cared enough about them to actually physically try and see them in those 4 or 5 years. It's completely heartbreaking and disgusting. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Please let me know what do you think. about this case in the comment section down below. Also, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whichever way you prefer it, and it's free, it doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps me and my channel out. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button. Also, make sure you have your notifications bell on to make sure you are notified about any new videos I upload. Lastly, if you want to buy me a coffee, the link is on the screen and it will be in the description down below as well. You don't need to, only if you want to. Either way, I really appreciate having you here. Thank you so much, guys. Take care and stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.